Conclusion, final part. There was this place in China called Tiananmen Square, and there was a tank and a little child up against each other. One of the more famous pictures I can remember. And memory not always being correct. Maybe there was an older person or someone different. There's so many codes and there's so many secrets now, like 1 honk, 2 honks, 3 honks. There's like 4 voices and 1 required sound for entrance to the social extravaganza. The consciousness stimulus for all eternity. The brilliance and the awesomeness and hopefulness with the change taking place now. In a world where people aren't noticing behavior, who aren't listening to someone talk, who aren't hearing another person, who aren't keeping track of what other folks and people are doing on a Saturday, would involve stuff like food, energy, options, choices, fun, excitement, calm, relaxation, meditation, yoga, sports, and roller coasters. The person who stands up to another person who's working to make the world better, the military who's going overseas to protect us all from some psychopath named Osama bin Laden who died horribly next to a whole house full of women. Tragically next to a whole bunch of kids too. In countries where people do gestures, where people do communication with their behavior and do stuff like not get out of sync with the ruler. And saying instead, there's not going to be one dictator, supreme leader. There's going to be groups, there's going to be social, bonded fixers. Starts the process for the kind of people who would want to serve in the United States Army, who would want to be a Seattle Police Department officer in charge, having to talk to the public and describe what they're seeing now with not only the yelling and the screaming and the pleading and the crying, but with the broken windows and the cars on fire, and the insistence, the choices are temporary. And the violence will eventually stop when the person in charge and all of the people they send out in the world are gone. And then next they take the guns, hypothetically. People start making arrows, people make spears, and they walk around in the world, in the United States of America, theoretically with a different name in the future now. Men carry swords and women carry food, daggers, hammers, and dangerous objects. Going primitive and tribal has to do with the hormones involved in what I'm talking about, and why people are so angry at the police and so insistent that everyone else needs to shut up or go into outer space or plain old die. In other words, they've already figured out the problem, they've already identified the solution, and they've already contained the idiot, moron, who's in their way now. The behavior keeps getting more tense in the description. The behavior keeps getting more precise with the benefits. And probably most obviously doesn't get eliminated. Sadly and depressingly. The world being fought for outside in the world in Seattle, on the streets of Capitol Hill where I live now, and the voices I hear in the concrete and the asphalt below, and the rave music next door. And the poor lady who smokes cigarettes and gives everyone social services in the hallway now. They're not keeping track of the food cooking all day on the stove now. They're not taking time to read neuroscience books, and they're not being humble and saying, the behavior and the requirements aren't eliminating a problem. They are continuing the process already in place now within the system called psychology. The system, a person like the person down the hall in the hallway out there now, who smokes the cigarettes and just walks around, and who proudly stands bigger and stronger than me now, and their friend down the hall, and their friend up, and their friend down, and their friend to the side, who aren't going from one place to another. They're stumbling onto a person in need on their way now. Magicians used this same technique in the old days. Witches, sorcerers, people who play video games and believe that they are a part of a secret code in a society made by some alien spacecraft from another dimension, practice these habits of hacking the brain, making the mind strong, and being psychologically genius. And always calm and relaxed enough to get that free stuff and to find the bad person and the bad and the evil and the confused. There's not enough coffee to drink in this kind of world I'm describing now. There's not enough dollars printed on Earth to try and engineer and build an escape from this insanity. Cigarettes don't make the brain focus and concentrate. They help the eyes stare. They help the ears really listen intently. The ramen noodles, the canned foods, and the wall aren't a beautiful stream and a pristine lake where there's bald eagles and wolves hunting small animals. They're suffering. And violence doesn't end suffering. Decision making eliminates the problem called the word, the language, the letter suffering. With energy from food, knowledge from books and colleges and universities, tenacity from freedom, and grit from a body free in the world. And a rage from the passion and the determination and the motivation to not say, to not do, to fucking end the problem. And what the problem wants has to do with the body and how the body gets described and what it's doing now with the behavior and the observable now Omani Padme Hum.